at a few important things to know. It's an important aspect of your website to contribute. Contribution creates activity, and activity creates high visibility ranking in the search engines. But when you make contributions, it's important to plan your content. That's discussed in another one of our video tutorials. Planning is important. Thinking about what you want to say, how you want to say it, and the audience that you'd like to reach. Another important aspect is to post frequently. For a site such as yours, my recommendation is that you post weekly and at the daily, and at the very least you post weekly. The higher the frequency of activity, the higher the amount of content, the higher the visibility of the search engines. Another important component is website maintenance. As you make your content contributions, and as time goes on, there'll be content that becomes outdated, that you no longer need or no longer want, and just takes up space on the web server. Your database, where all your content lives, grows. The size of the growth is constrained by whatever your hosting provider limits you to in terms of how much account space you have. Another important component is to back up your website. This is something that you will want to talk with Verio about and find out whether or not they do daily backups of your website or weekly backups. In order to control size, it's important to delete unused images from the media library and delete irrelevant posts. Also, as time goes on, new content appears, and you may reference links that are no longer valid because you deleted an article maybe previously. So it's important to daily scan your website for any links that you may have used that are broken or irrelevant, especially with external links to other websites that may no longer exist. An important aspect is your website security. Being the fact that your website is database driven, it's susceptible to hacking. Lost passwords or misused passwords, or someone having your passwords erroneously, can produce the effect of having someone gain access to your site and actually manipulate and destroy your content. So passwords should be guarded very well. Also manage spam. As you've seen in one of the other tutorials, since the site is open to communication and commenting, you'll get comments from what's called web robots, which is just pretty much spam, just like email, and you'll want to go through and clean that information up and delete unnecessary or malicious content when and where applicable. Also delete suspected users. Sometimes the web robots can register with your site, or sometimes people register with your site who really don't have goodwill towards your site and just want to post silly stuff or whatever. They're unfortunately people who do have nothing but time on their hands. When you do see that suspected accounts, delete them. Again, prioritize communication through your website. When someone actually makes a comment on an article, engage in that comment and reply. Or if someone fills out a form, respond back to that form. It's important to let people know, or let the users know, that there is actually someone monitoring your site, and it's not just sitting there as a placeholder. Over time, this can affect loyalty and traffic. So manage contact from the submission forms, moderate discussions. And where can you find more information? As always, you can utilize the web and do search on this topic to get more insight. There are also YouTube videos that discuss in detail about these aspects that we covered. And there's also something that you can search for in your web browser called the WordPress Codex, which is pretty much the Bible of WordPress and essentially the manual. And it's a deep read, but it will give you insight into how this entire universe works. And as always, you can find me here at my URL.